Hello everyone, it is Top 10 Scary Urban Legends here. I'm your host Makayla, and today we're talking about the top 10 Las Vegas scary urban legends, so let's get started. Starting off this countdown at number 10, La Plaza Mansion. La Plaza Mansion has made an appearance on many TV shows about ghosts, and is known to be one of the most haunted places in the United States. The previous owner started freaking out when bad things started happening in the house. He tried to confront the evil spirit, but it was rumored that he was choked until he almost passed away. He was fortunate to have escaped, and the house currently remains vacant with no one inside. Well, no one living there, I guess. It's believed the mob in Las Vegas owned this house. Upon investigation, they discovered a room covered with dry blood. It's speculated that the mob used this room to perform executions. While no one has dared to live in the house after that one man, no one has also ever dared to tear it down out of fear. Now at number 9, the Sphinx. A geographic phenomenon serves as the source for an urban legend that continues to intrigue and mystify people to this day. If you traveled through Nevada, you've probably noticed how Nevada's rivers empty into small lakes that don't have any visible outlets. These lakes are called sinks, referring to the way that the water simply sinks away. An urban legend says that the sinking water is to God, who, after creating the Mississippi and Missouri rivers, decided to make a third river in Nevada that was bigger than the others. God spent time creating 8 smaller rivers that would forge together to make one big river, but he ran out of time and decided to finish the work later. God tucked in the ends of the rivers overnight to keep them safe, but when the next day came, he forgot about them, and the 8 rivers were left alone, leading nowhere and eventually emptying into the sinks. Now coming in at number 8, bodies in the Hoover Dam. Sometimes urban legends become so popular that people start believing it's a fact, and here's just one example. The Hoover Dam was built in the 1930s. During its construction, 96 workers unfortunately lost their lives, but popular belief says the number could be much higher. More disturbing than that is that it's said that 7 bodies were allegedly never removed from the dam because they fell through gaps and were buried in the concrete. Coming in at number 7, corpse under the bed. I'm sure you guys have all heard about this one before, but let's talk about it again. This urban legend is one that has done the rounds across the United States. The general story is that guests will stay at a cheap hotel for the night. They will enjoy a great night's sleep before waking up in the morning to smell something very pungent and gross. Upon investigating the foul smell, the guests will discover the decomposing corpse of a victim rotting right under where they laid their head that previous night. It's alleged that this myth started in Las Vegas after gangsters would leave their murder victims under the bed in hotels. Coming in at number 6, Del H. Robinson Middle School. Kids can have a wild imagination when it comes to urban legends and myths. However, this one seems to have many witnesses to be dismissed without a thought. The students at Del H. Robinson Middle School have reported seeing a janitor walking the halls with bloody hands. Some new arrivals to the school have also claimed to see a man in their dreams after enrolling in the school. Some say that he followed them home and then disappeared. The strange twist to this Las Vegas urban legend is that all witnesses said their sightings ended when they started going to church. Halfway at number 5, the Megabucks Curse. In March 2000, Cynthia J. Brennan won the life-changing Megabucks jackpot at the Desert Inn. It was a total of $34.9 million. However, tragically, Cynthia was then involved in a horrific car accident just days after the winning. The accident left her quadriplegic and ignited rumors that the Megabucks prize was cursed. The flames of this legend were fanned even more in 2003, when it claimed that an anonymous winner of the $39.7 million Megabucks jackpot at the Excalibur Hotel unfortunately passed away after a drug overdose. Even though no official confirmation has come from winners losing their lives after winning the Megabucks jackpot, many still believe in the Megabucks curse. Previous winners have allegedly passed away in plane crashes, passed in Los Angeles gang fights, and suffered heart attacks. Now at number 4, ghost at Goldfield Hotel. There are several urban legends associated with Goldfield Hotel. The most famous urban legend is the story of Elizabeth. As legend has it, Elizabeth, who is an intimate street worker, and George Wingfield, who was a past owner, had gotten her pregnant. Because George was afraid of the publicity destroying his reputation, he chained Elizabeth to the radiator in room number 109. Supposedly, after Elizabeth gave birth, Wingfield threw the baby down an abandoned mine shaft in the basement of the hotel, and either allowed Elizabeth to pass away on her own or had someone take her life. Now at number 3, Black Market. This classic urban legend ticks all the boxes on the list for horrifying. This urban legend goes like this. One night out, some tourists met some locals in a bar and eventually have their drinks spiked, and they then wake up in a nightmare situation. If you've watched Hostel, then you'll have a rough idea of how this one goes. In 1991, one specific rumor started doing the rounds that an individual was spiking the drinks of unsuspecting drinkers on nights out in Las Vegas and stealing their kidneys companies to sell them for money. Victims would be sharing drinks with a charismatic stranger one minute, and the next minute they would be waking up in a hotel bathtub covered with ice and stitches on their lower back. The predator would leave a simple note stating, "Call 911 or you'll die." Now coming in at number 2, the ghosts of the MGM Grand Fire. On the 21st of November 1980, the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino was the scene for one of the most devastating tragedies in the history of the city. A blazing fire ripped through the resort, claiming the lives of 85 people. At the time of the fire, hotels in Las Vegas were not required to have sprinkler systems installed, so this hotel didn't have one. It was said that faulty wiring is what caused the fire, and it could not be stopped in time to save the lives of those that were eventually lost. Bally's Las Vegas now stands on the site of the old hotel, and it is rumored that the ghosts of those that passed on that fateful night roamed the halls of the new hotel, haunting people because no one was able to save them.
Officials later estimated the fire traveled across the casino, the length of a football field, in less than 20 seconds. Had it been later in the day, the area likely would have been jammed with gamblers. At this point, smoke rising from the MGM could be seen for miles around, and firefighters were rushing toward the MGM from all over the Las Vegas area.
Now coming in at number 1, Area 51. When you hear about urban legends associated with Las Vegas, Area 51 is usually at the top of the list. Officially called the Nevada Test and Training Range, this high-security open training range for the US Air Force in the Nevada desert has been the subject of controversy and conversation over the years. One widely held conspiracy involves Area 51 and UFOs. Some stories connected with the site suggest that the remains from a flying saucer that supposedly crashed near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947 was then transported to Area 51 for further examination. Granted, the Air Force began to investigate claims of UFO sightings in 1952, an effort that later became known as Project Blue Book. When Project Blue Book ended in 1996, the Air Force had investigated more than 12,000 UFO claims. Dr. Jeffrey T. Richardson, a former senior fellow at the George Washington University National Security Archive, did a lot of research into Area 51 during his lifetime. He reported that the CIA's Lockheed U-2 plane reconnaissance program, spy planes used to gather intelligence, was connected with Area 51. Jeffrey filed a Freedom of Information Act in 2005 to seek information about this program. In 2013, Richardson told the New York Times that after examining declassified CIA documents about activity in Area 51, quote, "The only overlap is the discussion of the U-2 flights and UFO sightings. The fact that you had these high-flying aircrafts in the air being the cause of some of the sightings." So what do you think really goes on at Area 51? And that was the top 10 Las Vegas scare urban legends. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you thought about this video in the comment section below, and we will see you next time.